So it is 12:30 at night. I've just got finished editing a video that I plan on dropping tomorrow. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background. Mental health is massive at the minute, and it's quite a difficult one for me. I'm a typical bloke. I don't talk about my mental health or anything like that. I don't talk about feelings or anything like that. So I sort of took a step back from the car scene in 2017. I had my son, which is great. And I took a step back to look after him. I didn't want to be going away to shows all the time and stuff like that. But everything was good. And over Christmas, everything started, in 2017, everything started to go a little bit downhill for me. And this isn't a sob story. I don't want any sympathy or anything like that. I literally just wanted to give a background as to why I wanted something to focus on. So at the time, I was part of a car club that I could just, I didn't really have to have any input. I just pitched up to shows. Everything was done. You pay for your ticket and that's it. The only thing you've got to worry about is cleaning the car ready for the show. So June 2018 is where it really started to fall apart. My mental health had been bad before that, but that's when it really started to go downhill for me. So me and my wife broke up, and she moved back to Stoke, where we're both from, with my son. So, that was it did have a big effect on me, and people don't talk about it. I still went to work, and acted like everything was normal. I did the typical lad thing. So at the time, I am in the military, and I moved back onto base. So into like a dorm room type situation. And I was drinking every day, drinking bottles of whiskey like left, right, and centre. And it wasn't until late on 2018 that I really realised that it wasn't helping, and I really needed to do something about it. A few months after that, so everything was just sort of ticking along. I was travelling. I went away with work, and I came back Christmas time 2019. I moved back into the house. Like I say, my wife moved up to Stoke with my son, and I was just sort of ticking along for quite a while. Nothing was getting better, but I was holding it together. I was just working all the time and stuff like that. And then, obviously, the people that know me will know this. I sort of felt as if things were getting a little bit better, like things were getting stable. But I was quite wrong. Looking back, I was still in quite a bad space. I was doing those typical lad things when you've had a breakup, and it's not. I know this is a car channel, and you probably want to hear about cars, but this is something that's quite important to me, and it won't be a long video. So 5 months ago, I lost my mum to cancer, and before that, there was a 8 month period where things were terrible. You know, throughout those 7-8 months, we knew it was getting worse, and we knew that eventually we were going to lose my mum. But I didn't realise it would be so soon, and I don't think that mentally I was ready for that. You know, my mum was 50, and I haven't, you know, I've not really addressed it anywhere. I've spoke to my dad about it and things like that, but I don't think you're ever ready. It doesn't matter if I was, you know, 28 like I am now, or you know, or if I was 50. I don't think you're ever really ready for it. So over that period, you know, I was trying to hold things together for my family. I've got younger brothers and stuff like that. And then when my mum passed away, it was because I'd never really recovered or, you know, got any sort of help or anything like that. Really, you know, I did seek professional help, but it's that hard for me anyway, you know, and I think the same relates to most men. I didn't really want to open up to people. So that, in a way, this is like a little bit of therapy for me. I just need to get it off my chest. And if I can, you know, I'll help someone else, other men or women that are struggling with their mental health. So for the last 5 months, like I've really struggled having fun. You know, I'll put a smile on at work or whatever. But you know, I haven't really enjoyed anything. So me and Craig decided to start the car club, and it's become a bit of an obsessive focus point for me. So when I'm working, you know, I'm doing the videos. Obviously, that's relatively new, but you know, I'm pushing for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it helps me to focus on something that I can look back on and say, you know, we've created that. And I think that's why the club's so important to me. I really think, especially at the minute, you know, when nobody can go out and everyone's struggling, you know, you're perhaps stressed about where money's coming from and stuff like that. I think it's really important to have something that you can work towards. You know, you can have goals. Obviously, I can't go back to Stoke at the minute, so I haven't seen my son for a while, which is obviously a massive, for people who've got kids out there, it's a massive thing. But having the club is a huge help for me, and by no means am I fixed, and you know, I've got the club, so I'm all fine now. It doesn't work like that. And honestly, if this helps one bloke out there to realise that we can open up, and it's not a girly thing to do or anything like that. You know, you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to go and cry and things like that. If you want to, it's fine. But it's not me. So yeah, what I really want to say is, obviously the background over the last few years has been horrible, and I feel like as soon as I've started to pick up a little bit, something else has come along to just knock me back down to square one. But I don't really drink anymore, which is the first thing I want to say. If you are stressed about something and you sink a load of beers in an evening to help you de-stress, well, you're not, that doesn't cure your stress. It'll just mask it. You're then stressed and drunk. And I don't mean, going around to your friends and having a few beers. If that's what you need to do, then do it. We've all had the heart-to-hearts when we're drunk, and we've opened up a little bit. If that's your therapy, then you crack on. I mean, sitting at home like I was and sinking a bottle of whiskey a night, it's not healthy. You're not doing yourself any favours, and in the long run you're going to look back and think that had you made healthier choices, that you could be in a much further forward position than you are with the drinking. But talk to someone is my second point. I've kept things inside that long, and that's partially the reason that me and my wife broke up. I didn't want to talk about anything, and I think that people could see that things were wrong, and I'd go from completely calm to lashing out at everyone. But then when people approached it because they cared, I would just lash out because I didn't like the I didn't like opening myself up and feeling that vulnerability. But please, if you are struggling with your mental health, and I don't like using depressed, because I think quite often things are misconstrued for between depressed and other problems that you've got going on. You don't have to be depressed to have mental health issues. My issue is that I sort of felt like everything was falling apart and I had no control over it. And again, bring me back to the club. It's done wonders for me as a person, because I feel in control of something. I might not have my life together, and again, this is just, I don't want sympathy or anything like that, but there are a lot of things in my life that I don't have together, but at least I've got the club to sort of look back on and see where we were and see where we are now. And I see it quite a lot after the countless hours of looking at myself, sort of sliding into that hole. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. After looking at myself, sort of falling into that mundane sort of day in, day out rigmarole of, I wake up in the morning, I have a shower, I put my brave face on, and I go to work and I pretend like everything's fine. I've started to see the same in other people. So I just want, if I can just help one person or, a few people to just end that stigma of, blokes not being cool, if they're opening up about the feelings and stuff like that. It is one of the hardest and strongest things that personally I think you can do. If you go to a friend and say, look mate, you don't have to get, have a few beers or anything like that, but if it helps, it helps. And just sit them down and say, look, I'm really struggling. I just want to talk some things out. And, at the end of the day, you might save someone's life. Someone might be in that pit of, self-loathing or in that spiral of just not feeling in control. And they might try and open up to you. And if you shut them down and you won't talk to them because you're insecure, how guilty you're going to feel if, you know, heaven forbid, which, you know, it happens, it's awful, but it does happen. Male suicide is massive, and, you know, female as well, but I am a bloke, and I don't really know how girls operate. I know girls are a lot better at opening up, typically speaking, than blokes. So male suicide is massive. So if somebody does open up to you, support them, talk to them, no matter how uncomfortable it might make you. And yeah, you know, focus on something. If you are struggling, I'm always available to talk. You know, you can get us through the Instagram. You can get us, you can get me on my personal Instagram. You can message me on here, whatever you want. You know, I'm always available to talk. Even if we've never spoke before and you want to say, look, I am struggling, then we can talk and I can perhaps share some of the things that have helped me. And get some help. And I'm not saying go and seek professional help, because that's not something that I could deal with. When me and my wife were together, I tried, and it didn't really work for me. But yeah, support each other, especially at this weird time where everybody's inside. You know, if you are struggling and you've got coping mechanisms and, you know, ways of making it a little bit better, but now because of COVID-19 you now can't do that, find other things to do. Focus on something. Do what I've done and start a YouTube channel. Do something else. Get a side hustle and make something. I know my wife started crocheting, and I think it's something to focus on that you can do with your hands. You know, while your mind just thinks and unwinds things, and at the end of it, you can look at something and say, you know, I've made that. Do something. It doesn't matter what it is. I just want everyone to know that, you know, like I say, I am here to talk. If there's anything I can do, I will. And yeah, this is my mental health awareness video. Nobody knows I'm doing this. It was not a spur of the moment. I've been wanting to do it. But I'm sure there's people that know me well enough to know what's gone on, but I haven't opened up to. You know, I mean, for me, just after my mum died, I went back to work and people had said, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Fucking hell. I think you'd have to be, I don't know, either much stronger than me, or I don't know. You'd have to be something else other than me to go back 2 weeks after your mum had died and say that you're fine. You know, when essentially your wife leaves you and you go back to work a week later and people say, well, are you okay? And you go, yeah, smashing. Let's crack on with work. Sometimes work's the best thing you can do, but whatever helps you, do it. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Don't worry about what anyone else will think about you. Don't worry about anything like that. Just you do you. But don't shut yourself away, is my main message. Just don't do that. Get your friends involved, get your work colleagues involved, get whoever you want involved, even if they come round to your house or whatever, and you know, all sit as a group and you just chat some things through, or you get your best friend to do it, or whatever. Just don't do what I did, and sex and alcohol isn't the answer to anything. Quite often it's empty. It's not going to do you any favours, and in the long run it's going to make you feel bad about yourself when you look back. So yeah, hopefully you've taken something away from this, and thanks if you've watched all the way through. And yeah, so that's that. Let's get back to the cars.